this game some, but today I'm going to be sharing this experience with all of you. All 0 of you. I'm new on the scene, but I hope soon that won't be the case. So, first thing you do in this beautiful little garage, quaint little garage. I wish I had a garage like this. I like working on cars, and this would be nice. I'm not gonna lie, it would be very nice. However, it's also very unlikely that I'll ever have a garage quite like this one. These things are the most useful thing you could ever have. But the first thing you ever do when you come to this game is you gotta take some orders, get some money. I got $4,000, but that ain't nothing. So what can I do with $4,000? I can't buy no car. Cars are expensive. Can't even go to a junkyard yet. In order to be able to go to a junkyard, you have to reach at least level 13 before you can go. And as for getting a car from a barn, well, those are just expensive. So, there is that. So we're going to start with taking an order. So let's see what the first car we got will be. Because I did not look. I just clicked on the one that was not the story quest, because that is not something I'm going to be doing just yet. Okay, that's a car. That is indeed a car. 4 nukes down, 1 to go, I guess. So, here we have a cute little Katagiri Katsumoto X-Tech. And needs some brakes fixed. Needs brake pads, caliper, and 2 brake discs replaced. That's not a big deal. I can do that in just a minute. Hopefully. Best thing to do, whenever you get a car, just raise it up some. Because you're not going to be able to do really anything until you raise up a car some. Let's bring in this little Mayan here as well, and we'll get to that next. Always have a car in the back of the garage. Now, we gotta figure out which of these parts are bad. That is painfully slow, but luckily we can increase the speed on that later. Now, for every car order that comes in, there's a certain status they want the parts to be at, a certain condition level. This one doesn't want anything below 65%. The brake caliper here, that looks in pretty good condition, so that is at 83%. So is the cylinder, so that's fine. Brake pads, 22, so those were definitely the brake pads we needed to replace. 100%. So, if you then go over to your computer here, it's a bit annoying that you have to walk, but luckily we get a tablet later to help us be able to do it more. So on the go, we'll go to UP parts, or up parts, more than likely. Just go to brakes. We know we need a caliper. We know we need 2 ventilator brake discs. We're going to go ahead and grab those. And we also need a set of brake pads. That's all we need for this car, though. So we got all our parts here. Best thing to do there. We'll go to part mount and let's get these on. Just takes a second. Get these new brake pads on, and let's go ahead and put that caliper back on there. Now, whenever it comes to most cars, and this goes for real life as well, a lot of them will have pads in the front and drum brakes in the back. So rather than going and checking the back brakes, we're going to go over to this one here first. They might be pads in the back, but I got the doubts. But with the condition of that caliper right there, I'm actually going to go ahead and say that the brakes back there also pads. I'm going to say that this caliper is not below 65%. Yeah, that's at 80% there for the cylinder and 84 for everything else. So let's go ahead, get this disc replaced. We're going to go ahead and reuse the pads because they are fine. Though, if you're working on your actual car, I do recommend changing it all out together. Caliper, not so much unless it needs replaced, but pads and rotors, in this case, should always be together. That way you know when they're going to be place next, because, well, place it all. I would say that is the troublemaker caliper right there. That looking pretty rusty. Only downside of this game, every bit of wear is always shown as rust, which unfortunately is not completely accurate. That caliper is definitely shot at a mere 7%. That's not really what we're looking for. Almost done a little bit. Oh, wait. That's not what I was supposed to be using. Is it? Well, I guess it is. I guess I put a new one on the front. Well, shittier ones for the back. Back doesn't matter as much. Yes, it does. But, this person will never know. We're not going to tell them. We're just going to take their money. So, with that should be everything. Once you're done, it'll check mark if the item has actually been fixed or not once you find the part. Luckily, we were given a list on this, but a lot of times you actually have to go and find the part yourself and then fix it, rather than it just telling you. And that's one of the more fun things about this game. Something I quite enjoy about it is you have to actually put in a little bit of elbow grease and get in there and figure out what the hell went wrong. So wrong. So, we're done. We spent $291 on parts. That sucks. But we're making $435 back. So, make a little bit of profit. We started with just $4 grand, and now we have, well, $41.20. Not much better. But, over time, it will get better. And, already, we got our first case. Now, one of the great things about doing this work is now we got all these bad parts. And while they won't sell for much, they do sell for a little bit, like $4 here, $2 there, $12 there, and $3 there. That's not bad. And we got a case for finishing a little thing. Sometimes when you do an order or a story mission, you'll get either a case or a barn map. Barn map takes you to a barn, and you can find some special cars there. You'll pay a prettier penny, but they'll be in good condition. You can fix them and sell them for profit. Say you buy them for about 20 grand, you can typically sell them for about 50 and 60 grand. And, well, that's some good money. Better than what we're making right now. $141 right now in profit. That's not a lot. But sometimes you'll also get a case, which will have better parts than what you normally buy, and you get them for free. So you can either choose to keep these parts, which depending on what they are, yeah, I'll keep them. For example, a fuel pump. We're going to have to buy a lot of fuel pumps, so that's a part I don't have to buy later. And a radiator seat, that's also something that the radiator seat is in a lot of cars, so keeping that's going to be good. As for its fuel rail for a W12, that's not really going to come in handy. Probably ever for me. Now, I've played through a decent bit of this game on a different save file, and I still haven't even messed with the W12 engine, let alone having to replace a fuel rail for one. So, gonna go and sell that, and that's $297. So, now we're looking a little bit better on profit. As for this car, let's go ahead and get that over to the lifter. That way we can get started work on it. Now, it also had some brake issues. That's probably what most of our cars are going to be at first, is brake issues. And that does suck. 2 calipers, pads, disc, and a disc ventilated. So, we gotta keep that in mind. So, with that in mind, we should go ahead and go over here. First, we're going to get another car going. Because now we got this person here, they're waiting. Their car also needs brakes. I hope it's not the same car who just came. Nope, that's a different one. That is a beautiful, beautiful poop brown. That is, well, at least the rust doesn't stand out. So we're gonna go over here. We gotta buy, let's see, so I know we need to buy 2 brake calipers, brake disc ventilated, and a regular brake disc. What else did I need again? Was it a thing of pads? So we have 2 calipers, got disc ventilated, and a thing of pads, yes. So, that's all we need for that. Get these pads, and hey, now at least we're still above 4,000. So that's, you know, that's we're getting our start. Can't wait until we get level up so we can hopefully start working on getting some things to be even faster. For example, this unscrewing is incredibly slow. Not very nice. So everything's good over here, just that brake disc definitely needed change. That was, well, it's not abnormal for those to be rusty, but that was a bit too rusty, not gonna lie. So get everything back on. We're gonna put on a brand new brake caliper because I don't feel like scrolling over to get the other ones, not gonna lie. To be honest, those lugs are not gonna be doing anything, they're too short. Too short for the wheel. But we're not gonna look into that. We're just going to enjoy this little game here. Now this caliper's out, now I can tell you, back caliper can lead to bad pads. But that pad actually looks to not have any spots or anything on it. Oh, that pad was actually in perfect condition. Literally 100%. That's very good. So, our brakes on the front now are looking muy good. Very good. And you might occasionally hear a bit of a whistling in the very front ground. If you do, don't be alarmed. I doubt you would be, but it's just my name. Now that looked pretty good, so I'm gonna come over to this side real quick. Yeah, I think this is where my main problem is lying. It's the back wheel right here. Everything looking real good and rusty. That brake caliper, this bad. Get out of there. That brake pad, get it out of here. That disc, get it the fuck out of here. Let's put on our newer parts. And a new caliper. And all of the cylinders are luckily fine. But sometimes you need to replace as well. Of course. Every part on the car can wear that brake eventually. Everything. So, I think that is everything fixed. So once again, we're done. We spent a little bit more this time, as there's a little bit more to replace, but we do also get paid a heavier amount. So, this time we're making $535, and now we have even more in the positive. Now, this car also needs a bit of TLC, if it were. Also needs brakes fixed. Just, brake disc ventilated and 2 calipers. See, that's not so bad. You know, it'd be a lot easier to do, and while it won't pay us as much, at least it will be a fast job, a little bit of fast cash for us. You know, as you level up, things do get a bit more intense. So let's level make sure, because we don't want to buy parts that we're not going to use. Because even if we sell them immediately, we're not going to get what we paid out of them. And we might spend 40 and get like 25, and I don't want to lose 15 bucks today. So we need a brake disc ventilated and 2 brake calipers. So let's just go ahead and run over to the computer and let's get those. I already forgot what it was. No, I didn't. It was a brake disc ventilated and 2 calipers. Calipers are expensive. $150 for 2 calipers. As of right now, I'm not getting no discounts. Back there, we got a sportier looking car. That's for sure. Well, that caliper looks good, but that disc is definitely our bad disc. Alright, that's back caliper, and that's a back caliper. So now we know where our back calipers are and where our bad disc is. Just taking a little peek around the car. We only got 3 parts, so we might as well take the time to do that, and that way we know everything that needs replaced and where it needs replaced at. So that back passenger side wheel, we know we can just leave that thing alone. We don't have to fuck with that. Why do we want to fuck with that? I don't want to fuck with that. You probably don't want to fuck with that. You probably don't even want to see me fuck with that. So I ain't gonna. Get a new caliper here. Something I'm curious about is what would make one side calipers. Look at that. caliper on there. Screw it on tight. And let's roll back the tire. Now we just got that brake fixed. So we're gonna go ahead and walk over here and get started on this. Because we got a couple things to do. Put it back in it's not just remove the caliper, as you guys have already seen. We gotta remove the caliper and then the pads, and then we get the disc. So it's a little bit more work. Get a better view here. Let's put on all of our parts. Right there is one done car. Now, we didn't spend as much, so we're not going to get paid as much. But that's okay. We'll get paid more later. Get better jobs, get more experience. People will actually be willing to give us money. That's something I'm excited for. That is something that's broken. So we're going to figure that out. But luckily, right now it seems to be giving me lists for everything. Now, we have leveled up. As you can see in the top right there, we are now level 2. We also have 2 calls in the blue, but the yellow is what we're looking for. We are level 2. We're going to go ahead and take another call real quick. Get someone over here. This Maserati, so, well, they're gone. Guess we weren't fast enough for their liking. But hey, that's on them. So we're going to go ahead, walk over to his toolbox. You can walk over to pretty much any toolbox. These are kind of like your skill trees, in a way. So, as you will see here, boop, as you level up, you will have access to different upgrades. Every time you level up, you will get another skill point. Now, all of these are different things. Some give you tools for example, this is a fuel pressure test. We haven't done that yet. That's unlocked at level 15. But some of these are smaller things, like, gives you a chance to repair, but not a great one, only 55%. That's not the best that it could be. And right now we can only ever do faster parts examination or faster screwing and unscrewing, which is definitely what I'm doing because that is a little too slow for my liking. But once you get a little further down, like say level 12 here, you get another car lift and another garage door, as well as a little warehouse, which doesn't really do much for you, as you can just access your inventory right here, and that's all that the warehouse does for you. So we're going to go ahead and sell all of these bad parts, make a little bit of chump change, as I call it. And go ahead and open this case and see what we get. Now, cases sometimes will also give you barn maps. But right now, not what we're worried about. So we got a belt, 17 belt A for V8 overhead valve. Now that's a very common engine, so we're probably going to be using that. As for that camshaft cap, that's not really something we're going to be using. So we're going to sell that timing cover and that camshaft cap, because those aren't really going to come in handy for us. It's a little bit more money for us, just a little bit, just what we need. Now let's go ahead and get this Porsche 911 Turbo, and we're going to go ahead and bring that over into the garage. Excuse me. Okay, so, whew. Now, this is a Maserati Quattro. It's 2 brake disc, a brake disc ventilated, and an ABS module. That gets a little bit more expensive. It's a Maserati though. That's probably 7 brake. So we're gonna need this ABS module. Brake disc ventilated, and it was 2 brake disc, I believe. It's right there, $240 plus $700. It's $940 so far in parts alone that we've bought. It does suck that we're gonna be out all that money, but it is gonna give us a bit more of a payout. So let's go ahead and get down here, and do we need to be under the car for that? Oh, I got good news from you. I'm in the engine bay. There we go. See, sometimes if you click on something like the wheel, it'll technically have you looking at suspension, not the engine, so it'll think that you're at the side of the car when you're really in the front. Bit annoying, but it is what it is. So let's go ahead and get this ABS module. As you can see, that screwing and unscrewing is definitely much faster. Much faster, much better. That's what I like to see. So, got that done. Now to figure out which of these brake pads needs, well, not brake pads, but this needs replaced. I don't even know if this car even lifted yet. So we should go ahead and do that. While it's lifting, we're going to look at this. It needs brake disc, 2 calipers. I'm going to go ahead and buy those real quick. We got the money for it. It's not like this ride is going to need any more money poured into it. So, I don't remember what it was exactly. So I'm not going to go back and look at that. I'm going to get back and focus on this car. Because this is the person who I thought I would work on their car first. So, their car gets done first. Every time you screw something off or put something back on, you get 1 experience point. Not a whole lot. But it's a little something as you do technically gain a little bit of experience. Put things back off, and it helps you just a little bit getting closer to that level up. Get that wheel back on. Come over here. Now, that is fine, so it's just in the back here now. To be expected, since they were regular and not ventilators. Almost done with this car as well. How to brake work at first. Something that people, especially with their cars, you know, hey, just do the brakes. I don't want you fucking up my engine, but hey, you can do the brakes. Each little part gets us that little bit extra experience. Currently 396 experience. So before I actually let this car go, I'm gonna go do something really simple. I'm going to remove and take out, put back in the battery a couple times. We're gonna see if this actually works for getting just a little bit of extra experience, and that it does. So we're just gonna get ourselves an even 400 there for OCD reasons, and this car should be considered done. Yep. Now we may have spent $940, but we did make $1410, so that's a pretty good profit there. Now we made about, we'll round up, we'll say about $450, and that's a start. You know, it's a start, and you know it's something. It's something to get going with. So this car, he's done. Let's get this Porsche 911 Turbo over to the car lifter. Whenever you bring in another car, that slot has to be open. Where we don't have multiple slots right now, where we still have a small garage, there's a car here, we can't take any more orders. So it's best as soon as you get rid of another car, or say you finish a job, you go ahead and move your next one up, and you kind of just keep that cycle going. Now currently I don't have any other calls, so I'm going to wait a second. Hey, there we go, literally a second. You knew I was waiting for you. Put new engine oil and filter. Simple, an oil change. Anytime you change your oil, you should also change your filter as well. It's just basic maintenance. Oil filters are also like $5 in real life. In this game, I think they're a little bit more. But in real life, there's no reason to never replace your filter. It's $5. Go walk around a parking lot for a couple hours and you'll probably pick up enough change to go buy yourself an oil filter. My main problem is I have no short-term memory, so we need a brake disc and 2 calipers. That is what I'm trying to remember. Brake disc. Wow, that's a pretty caliper. 2 brake calipers. So. What was it? It's that caliper. But I'm not sure. So that's definitely one of the calipers. We need to get this car off the ground. As you see, we're starting to get a little bit more popular. We're getting more calls in, so we're going to be able to go in here and more so pick and choose who we pick. For example, that one, car's hard to control. That's a little bit of a different issue than we're used to dealing with. So that's going to take a bit more work. So it's going to be a bit more pay. 46% is what these parts have to be. So we know that if a part is at 46%, then it is, you know, it's good to stay where it is. We're going to take out this caliper. I know that this is going to be our bad caliper. Now, this is a ventilator disc brake, so we know that these discs are not going to be ones that we have to replace at all. Go ahead and get this caliper on there. Put on our rim again. And get going to the next wheel. Let's examine this brake disc. 54%, so that's actually okay. However, we don't want to slip the wheel off. That caliper, that's looking fine. That's definitely within range. I'm not going to bother checking on that. I'm just going to go ahead and order this wheel, because I bet this is where all of our parts are going to be coming over here. This is a very small order to be a disc caliper, so again, it's not going to be that expensive. But we have officially crossed over $5,000 while also keeping all of our parts. Well, after already getting all of our parts. So, we are making a bit more bank now. Now we've made some profit. And whenever you're running any kind of thing, money, you always want to see profit. That's not lag. That's me being weird and spamming the button. Don't mind me. So, we fixed everything. $328. Bit more than the last time we did this. Little bit. So we're getting a bit more experience on this. People are starting to pay up for that. I think the next thing I'm going to do is probably just going to do this truck, and then I'm probably going to hop off here for now. I got some things I want to go take care of. But we also have leveled up. So first thing we're going to do is 5% discount in shops. That's very important. That makes things just a little bit cheaper for us. Now if you go in here, and well, first before we do that, let's figure out what exactly we need. Now I know I need to replace the engine oil filter. It's an i6, meaning an inline 6 motor. It's got 6 cylinders all arranged in a straight line. As you can see here, there's only one bank. Very, very small engine, I will lie. 6 cylinders, 6 pistons, 6 spark plugs, all in a straight line. Very well balanced. Very, very simple design. So it's an i6 oil filter. So you go in here, and if you go to look at something, you know, cheap, like say this drum wheel cylinder, it's $11, we'll pay $10 for it because we get 5% off. But that's much better whenever you go something like the ABS module. Normally $700, now $665. And the bet is, you know, it shows us how much money we spent on a car that we worked on. Now, if say we replaced just an ABS module, it's not going to say that I spent $665. It's going to say that I spent $700. So we're still going to be getting that extra money that we saved on that right back to us. So let's go ahead and look up this oil filter. Inline 6 right there. It's a little bit more specific with real cars, but, you know, it is what it is. Now, first things first, we can't just, you know, rip off the oil filter. While in the game, it would work just fine like that, I like taking a little bit more pride in my things. Gotta always drain your oil first. First thing to doing an oil change, drain your fucking oil. Some people try to do other things first, and, well, those are people that end up having a spill on their hands. That ain't gonna be me. Yep, that oil was nice and dark. Definitely need it replaced. So, the oil filter is on top, so we're gonna go ahead and lower this back down. Now, mind you, if you want to change your oil at home, you don't have to have some fancy car lift. All you need is a jack and the ability to crawl under your car. Jack it up, you'll crawl under there, and, well, as I'll re-show you here in just a second. Oh, I do have to be under the car for that oil filter. Well, perfect. Good little lesson. All you gotta do, find your oil pans on the very bottom of your motor. Always. Always is. You just gotta find a little bolt that's on it. For example, this one, it's right there. It might be on the side of it here. It might be on a lip, or it might be on the very bottom. I personally prefer when they're on the bottom, but to each car manufacturer, their own. But all it is just a single bolt. Remove that, and your oil will come flooding out. Once it's all done and it's just kind of dripping, you can go ahead and put the bolt back in. Make sure you catch your oil in something. Always catch your oil in something. You don't want that going all over your driveway, because that's going to stain. Not to mention, well, local animals don't like it. But once you're done, screw off your filter. The oil filter should always be hand tightened. You know, if you want to have an oil filter wrench, take one off. If, say, it's, you know, been on there a while, say car's parked for a couple of years, that's one thing. Don't use it to put it back on there. Just get it on there, line up threads, and just tighten it by hand. Get as tight as you can by hand. Don't put it too tight, though. You don't want to try and break it. You just want to get it pretty tight on there, and it'll form its own seal, and it's fine. After that, you know, you just screw back on your oil filter. You remove a single bolt, and then you just have to take off this oil fill plug, which, you know, those are a simple twist. You only gotta twist like 3 things, total of like 4 times between them all, and you're done. Just look up how much oil your car takes. You know, a standard car would take somewhere between 3.5 to 5 quarts. It just depends on the car. If you got a little 4-cylinder, you're probably looking at more like 3.5 or 4 quarts. 6-cylinder, probably like 4.5. I didn't want you up there. That's not what I wanted. I got distracted. Now V8, you know, you'll probably need more oil. More stuff you got moving around, more cylinders, more oil it's gonna need. Well, you also have typically a bigger oil pan. It's also a bigger motor, so the oil pan, since it just sits on the bottom, will be bigger. But it's one of the simplest jobs you can do. Don't go to Walmart to get it done. Do it yourself. Be about the same, but you can also get better oil than what Walmart will give you. I personally find Amazon Basics, and this is not a sponsorship, but Amazon Basics oil is extremely good, and for tests that some people have done, it's just about as good as Mobil 1, which is a very good oil brand as well. But do yourself a favor, don't go for other oil brands, you know, something like Pennzoil or what you'd find at Dollar Tree. Those aren't really, like, yeah, you know, it works. And I've used stuff from Dollar Tree myself, because my car had an oil leak for some time. But, you know, it's very much not really worth, you know, risking any kind of engine damage. You know, get your car some good oil, turn a couple wrenches, and be done with it. Save yourself, you know, having to wait hours at Walmart. You know, if once you get some practice with it, you know, doing an oil change, you could do it in like 10 minutes. There's some oil change places specifically that you take your car to have your oil change done in like 10 or 15 minutes. And you can do that at home in your driveway as well. Just jack it up real quick, get like a milk jug, or you can buy a oil container from Walmart for like 12 bucks for a pretty big one at that. And as for oil that's, you know, waste and just sitting in that container, you can take those containers and pretty much like over like AutoZone or something, and they'll take care of the oil for you. Let it be recycled. The only time I wouldn't do that is if you maybe had a diesel and you want to make some black diesel, which is simply put mixing old oil with diesel fuel to make a cheaper diesel fuel. Diesel is just oil and fuel. essentially. If you don't run a diesel, obviously don't do that. That's not a good idea. But we're going to go ahead and get a couple more cars here. So, I don't want that one. That one would, well, sure. Let's go ahead and bring in this Dodge Ram. Needs all the filters replaced, so we'll get onto that one next time. And we're going to see what other cars we can get through here. But, changing your oil is one of the most common maintenance things you need to do. Also the most necessary thing you need to do. Cars need oil. It's like their blood. And, well, you wouldn't do very good running with no blood, or really old blood. Blood needs to heal. Cars can't do that though, so we need to give them a helping hand, as it were. So this one also needs all its filters replaced. So we're gonna take a look between the two. However, whenever it comes to an oil change, it's typically not very different between cars. Now you might have something like a dust shroud on your car, kinda blocking your oil pan. That happens sometimes. That might be a couple extra bolts you'd have to turn, but most cars don't block off the oil pan. Well guys, that's all the time I have for now, but you all take it easy, take it sleazy. I'll catch you next time.